Good morning, everybody. My name is Jared O'Leary. I've been drumming since 1998, and I still got plenty of stuff to work on. Today, I'm working on left-hand sweeps to the inside on the tenor drums. Now, in these practice streams, there are over 500 of them. There are timestamps in the description to show what I was practicing, how I'm continuing to try and improve after having been playing for almost 30 years, as well as some of the questions I'm responding to in the different chats that I have up on the other monitor. Now, because I've been drumming for so long and because I've taught every grade, kindergarten through doctoral student, I get a range of questions about how do I get better as a performer or how do I get better as an educator, and I will often edit those answers and put them into this drumming tips playlist. It has just under 20 hours of free drumming tips inside of here. The first thing that I talk about is the title. So for example, tips on how to practice playing clean. And when it says and other drumming tips, that means there are more topics inside of that particular title than or that particular video than you will actually see there. And this one actually I'm gonna open because there's a mistake in the title, so let me fix it real quick. That's funny. Oh, there's a A/B test going on right now. Okay. Cool. All right, so all of the resources that I use are found on my website. So you can actually go to jaredoleary.com/drum, which is linked right above my head if you're on the vertical. Well, hello, Brian. How you doing? And there's a ton of free exercises in here, literally thousands, plural, free exercises. So we've got a bunch of chop exercises, over 1,000 grid variations, limb independence, that's what I was practicing yesterday. We've got over 500 marching bass exercises, some drumline cadences in score format, almost 300 sight reading exercises, almost 500 technique exercises, over 19 hours of drumming Q&A, and a ton of scripted lessons like how to hold traditional grip or how to move faster around the tenor drums or problems with crossing your hands on the drum kit, blah, 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 blah. Lots of content. Thousands of hours of free exercises in here. Now, because I march snare, I'm not a tenor drummer. I need to get motivated with Shia LaBeouf, so I'm going to hide Shia because of copyright. But Shia is going to help motivate me to get better. Here we go. Do it! Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow, so just do it. Make your dreams come true. Just do it. Some people dream success. Well, you're going to wake up and work hard at it. Nothing is impossible. You should get to the point where anyone else would quit, and you're not going to stop there. No, what are you waiting for? Do it. Oh, I was late. Just do it. Yes, you can. Just do it. If you're tired of starting over, stop giving up. Ah, yeah, Shia LaBeouf. One more flex for good luck. Now I'm ready to work on tenor drums. How do you practice without getting distracted or burned out practicing? Elaborate, Brian, on the second part. What do you mean by burned out practicing something? Like getting bored with it or what? Like you've played it too many times and you're like, I'm just done. Let's warm up. I'm going to play through Rodeo a few times, and then I'll stretch and massage, and then I'm going to work on the tenor inside sweeps, specifically with the left hand. So I'm going to play through this 5 times. We're going to do it at a nice, comfortable tempo, and then we're going to go on. Let's see. It's not always about giving up. I'm not sure what you're asking about. John, I'm not sure what you're talking about. Okay, so Rodeo. Where's Rodeo? It's too many exercises. Rodeo. All right. So this is a variation on Gallop. Gallop is an exercise that like UNT, SCB, etc. use. I think Phantom Regiment does it as well. But this is like an extended version of it that you can find. Hello to you, Jacob. So on here, I'm going to just like get the blood flowing in my hands. The sticks that I'm using are the Hardeman hammers, so they're like extra heavy sticks. They're great for working on your chops. But I'm going to warm up just like a nice 120, I think. Let me turn up the volume. And then we'll stretch and massage, and then we will work on tenor sweeps. Yeah, I'll talk about that. You like the snares? Yeah. Me too. Cool. Actually, we'll just go ahead and stop right there. John, I don't see a reply from you. I don't know if you were replying to like the joke thing at the beginning with Shia LaBeouf. That was just like a random motivational thing. But anyways, jewels. I don't know what those are, but thanks for all the jewels. Okay, so I'm gonna stretch and massage, and while I do that, Brian, I'm gonna respond to your question about like practicing and whatnot. So let me take a look at that. First stretch that I'm going to do is going to stretch the sides of the form. So I'm doing palms facing up. And so you push through. But let's see. So how do we practice without getting distracted or burned out, feeling like you're not making progress, basically, not gaining anything? I actually kind of talked about it a little bit in yesterday's stream. Let me go back the way that you came. So next stretch that I'm going to do is stretching the underside of the forearm. So you could pull back one at a time like this. If you do this on the wall, you can do it twice both at the same time. Or if you do it on here, you can stretch both. Just don't put all your weight into it. Okay, so Brian, one of the things that I was talking about yesterday is while I was working on the double bass stuff, I was playing through Chug with Hertas, and I was playing it from 60 to like 70 beats a minute, which is like nice and slow. So when I was playing through, it was like at that speed. And if you are a beginner or more intermediate drummer, not saying you are, but just people in general, then that might seem very boring. It might seem like, it's like not getting better. Like, when is it finally going to get to the point when I want it to? Like, it's just very tedious. But when I was playing through it, it was like very motivating. It was like, I noticed like progress from where it was even just like a week ago. Like, it feels more comfortable, it's easier to play, etc. But if you are a beginner or intermediate, you don't have that context. So you don't know, like, well, how long does it actually take to be able to improve the thing? So, like, because my hands can play that particular, like, phrase, like significantly faster than my feet can do it, I know what it took to get my hands to that level. I know how long it took. I know the effort. I know the practice routines, etc. I have that context because I've been drumming for almost 30 years. But when it comes to my feet, I haven't worked on my feet. Like, drum kit is something I spent very little time on. So I know what it's going to take to be able to do that, and it's motivating to find the little small wins in there. But if you are newer to drumming and you don't have that, like, set of skills that you have spent years improving and are at like a really high level, you don't really have that context to like point to, and it might feel like it's pointless. So one of the things that I recommended yesterday was, if you listen to like interviews or even live streams if people happen to do it, of like drummers that you really admire, that you look up to, and specifically focus on like how long they spent practicing, if they happen to share that, or like what it took or how many years they've been playing, etc. And like the grind, the effort, and all of that. If you focus on that and really hone in on that, that can give you some context for, I need to like not think about spending like an hour or two trying to refine something. I need to start thinking in terms of like months and years trying to refine this thing. I love you. You look cute. So you don't have that context. So if you are new to learning a skill, so like when I was teaching in like the K-12 like environment, like a lot of the students that I work with, they hadn't developed expertise in something yet. And so they didn't know just how much effort it was going to take. So they'd be like, I want to become like the best like drummer in the world. And then when they like actually sit down to work on it, they're not willing to put that effort into it, because they think, oh, well, I just need to spend like 50 hours and then I'll be like one of the best, right? And it's like, no, how about like 5,000 just to even get to be an average drummer, and then 10,000, 20,000, etc. Like there's a study that I read a long time ago that was talking about, for international level musicians, it takes about 21,000 hours of practice to be able to get to a specific level of international performing as an instrumentalist. And that's just the average for it. For some people, it might take longer. So it might not feel like you're making that progress, which can be demotivating. But let me respond to that. Add more in a second. I don't know who Bunny is, but that's cool. I don't really have any relatives who have instrumental background. So Brian, one of the things that you can do to like, if you don't have that context for how long it's going to take, but you feel like you're not making any wins, is to actually record yourself playing one thing that you want to try and improve, and then go back to that recording like a month later or a quarter later. So like 3 or 4 months. After you have like been working on it, trying to improve it. So for example, if I'm trying to improve my hertzes with my feet, and I record myself playing it at like 60 beats a minute, if I come back to that in like after a month of working on that, or 3 or 4 months of working on that, and I listen back to that recording, odds are you're going to notice the improvement there. You're going to notice the gains. Maybe it's only like 10 clicks faster, but it feels just as comfortable. Like it might not be like, but you'll actually be able to like compare your current performing with what you were previously. And then what you can do is you can do what's called like an ipsative assessment, which is where you do that comparison with your current understanding to your prior understanding, and then you set yourself a goal for where you want to go next. So if you keep doing these like monthly or quarterly reflections where you're actually recording yourself, you can keep going back to those over time. So I actually do like a quarterly review for myself, where I just kind of like talk to myself about like the things that I experienced, the challenges that I faced like in the past quarter, and like the lessons that I learned along the way. And every time I go through and I do those recordings for it, I go back and I review the previous recordings for that. And so I go back several years and go, oh yeah, I remember when like that thing was an issue, and now it has like no impact on my life, etc. I'm able to notice all these the progress over time that I might not have noticed if I was just like focusing on the day to day. Another thing you can do is you can actually do like actually I'll pull it up for you. So with this, so if you use a progress journal like this can also help you out as well. So like when I was working on the limb independent stuff and like learning how to do it, a lot of these like did not sound good when I first started it. Like pattern number 53, when I first started it, it needs a lot of work for a long time, and then it became technically proficient, and now it's like on average technically proficient in column A. So it took a long time of work to be able to go through that. And I was able to notice that progress over time because I was keeping track of it. And so you can do that with like different things that you're playing. These are limb independence patterns that I was keeping track of. But you can do this with like anything that you're working on. So the home tab of YouTube, if you go here, make it bigger. If you scroll down, into the drumming tips section, I think it was number 76, maybe. Hello to you on the vertical. Nope, not 76. Sorry, I'll find it. Nope. 74. I was close. So if you go to drumming tip number 74, this one, let me mute it so it doesn't blast out everybody's eardrums, me talking. So inside of this, there's actually a link to make your own version of the spreadsheet. So the second link right here, it basically will pop up a Google notification, and it'll be like, hey, do you want to make a copy of the spreadsheet? And then you can fill it in with it whatever you want. So you could be working on stuff and be like, oh, well, today I played it 5 clicks faster, and it felt just as comfortable. Like the quality of the playing and how I felt while playing it was just as good as it was like a week ago, but it was faster. So like this is one of the ways that you can keep track of it. So being able to keep track of like the micro improvements over time through these like macro journaling or reflection processes or recording yourself playing can help you to like see that progress over time that you might not notice. One of the things that I've also brought up in recordings or in streams previously is like the ringtone on my phone is 5th graders playing Hot Cross Buns the first time. And so I would play that for the parents at our final concert, and it sounds like a train. It's just like, it's horrible. And then after we'd play that recording, then we would perform it live, and the parents would be able to see that growth over time, and the students would be able to hear, oh, that's what we sounded like at the beginning of the year, and this is what we sound like now. So like stuff like that can really help you to see that context and that growth over time. If you record yourself, you keep track of like you're playing, the quality of it through journaling techniques, and through reflection processes, etc. But in terms of like not getting distracted, it has to be like, well, what is your goal? So like, what do you want to be able to do? So if you look at this, when I was first starting these limb independence patterns, they were like not good yet. So they were meh or needs a lot of work or etc. like when going through this. And it wasn't until I just like sat there and like spent the year just going through all of these patterns that like now, when we look at this, all of them on average in column A are at least technically proficient or musical. And so it took significant period of time to work on it. But my goal was I want to be able to play all 62 of these different variations at least technically proficient. So if you have a very solid, here's what I want to do, like this is the goal that I have, like I want to be able to play this thing or be able to play this exercise or be able to speed up this rudiment or sticking pattern or whatever it is that you're working on. Like having a very specific target for you to work toward and then kind of working backwards towards like, well, what are my long-term, mid-term, and short-term goals that all contribute towards being able to improve on that thing, that can help out with that. So if you look at like goal setting, like videos, there's a ton of those like that can help out with it. There's entire books dedicated to that. That can help you to stay focused and not get distracted by like new shiny object. Like, oh, well, I wanted to work on my flam drags, but oh, look at that, Chuck cheeses, woo! Like, ignore that. The flam drags is the thing that you set a goal on because it's the most important thing because of A, B, or C reasons that you provide for yourself, etc. Okay, so somebody put a very political message in there. So banned. Very random. Goodbye. You have more than that in hours? Well, actually, that reminds me. When you are practicing, the thing that like counts towards the hours of like actually improving is like a something called deliberate practice. So K. Anders Ericsson is the one who like popularized this term. So he's what we might call like a sports psychologist nowadays, but basically he was a researcher who like looked at like what does it take to get to like the Olympic level athlete or like the international level musician, etc. And so he's done a ton of scholarship around like expertise and skill acquisition and like how do people become world class at like different things. And so when going through it, the consistencies that he found among like the elite like musicians or athletes or performers or whatever is that engage in a process of deliberate practice. So if you look up like what is deliberate practice, you can find like a bunch of like smaller articles and whatnot on it. But what you need is you need to be able to intentionally work on something with a lot of focus and do that over an extended period of time. And do it in a way that is like isolating and breaking down things to try and improve it. So when doing that, you need to be able to also get immediate feedback, ideally, with it. So for example, if you record yourself playing through something and then play it back, you can play it back and you can listen to it and just listen and see, well, how did it sound? Like, how are my dynamics? What was the rhythmic accuracy like? Or you could play it back and you can mute it and you can be like, okay, well, what did this look like? How did it flow? What happens if I slow this down to a quarter of the speed? And like, what do my hands look like? Like, am I tightening up or am I able to like play relax, etc.? Like, this is the level of focus that is required when you're doing deliberate practice. So if you actually go, let me go back here. So if you go back into the stream that I did the other day when I was like working on the tenor inside sweeps and whatnot, if we go back to here, you'll see that there's a section in here that says that I was analyzing my sweeps and inconsistencies. So what I was doing is, this is like the real-time video of it, so I'm over here watching myself playing this at quarter of speed to figure out like what is going on with my hands that I can try and improve. And now today, I'm going to actively try and spend some time working on that specifically for the left hand. So I'm breaking it down, like what is the thing that I can do to be able to improve this thing? So just sitting there and like grinding out playing the same thing over and over might end up being a waste of your time because you're not actually like getting at the root of the issue that is holding you back with being able to like speed up like a paradiddle or to be able to play a specific phrase, etc. So when you slow things down, you isolate things, you analyze things, you look at things like what is going on with how it looks, how it sounds, how it feels, etc. Like that is the level of attention that you need to be able to put to it. And if you have that kind of a focus when you are working towards whatever your goal is, like the odds are you're not going to get distracted because you're going to be so focused on like, well, there's like a billion different things that I could do to improve my technique. Like with my own playing, like I'm like, okay, well, how do I refine like where my index is on my left versus my right? Or what about the amount of contact that's on the thumb? Like it was changing the other day when I was playing this where it was like creeping forward like this on my left hand, but on my right hand, the thumb was remaining flat. But then my left hand was also like, it was flat here as opposed to at like that American tilt, etc. So like this is all related to just one thing, which was like diddle sweeps moving from this drum to this drum. And I could sit there and just like break down each one of these for like days or weeks or months, etc. So if you like look at like the things that you're trying to improve from that level of granularity, then odds are you're going to improve over time because you have so many things that you can focus on with that one particular thing. And if you approach this like issue or problem or thing that you want to improve from like many different angles, then what it's going to do is it's going to allow you to stay focused on that thing and improve the overall whole, the gestalt, the main thing that you're trying to do, rather than just focusing on one specific thing the entire time. I don't know if that makes sense, Brian, but like it takes time. The process that it takes to develop is more than most people think. So a lot of students that I would work with over the years, they would like have this ambitious goal, but they didn't realize like exactly how long it took to get there. Like I've been drumming for almost 30 years and like I still have a ton of stuff that I'm trying to work on and I'm actively like working on in these streams and whatnot. And it's going to be the same for everybody. So if you want to get like at the international level of something, the amount of focus and attention to the detail that you have to do to be able to get to that is difficult. There are costs that come with that, and I do talk about that in some other drumming tips videos, where the cost of like how much time it takes is going to take away time from other things that you're going to do, whether it's like family, friends, relationships, whatever. Like those are things that you have to be able to balance, is like how much time are you spending drumming versus how much time are you spending not drumming, and how that like scale looks for you is going to be different from somebody else. So somebody else might be able to make progress faster than you because they're just simply able to put more time into it, but they're going to have a lot more sacrifices that they're putting into it that isn't necessarily going to be worth it for everybody else. So like for me, I like actively turned down relationships in high school so I could just focus on practicing. So I had like 2 different women who asked me to prom. And I was like, no, I'm going to go over to rehearsal. Appreciate it, but this is what I'm focusing on. So like that was something that I was willing to do, but then a lot of my friends who also wanted to be good drummers were like, no, I don't want to have that far of an extreme where like drumming is my number one and everything else is on the wayside. They were going for more of a balance, which is fine. Like everybody's going to be different in terms of like where you want that. And then that balance is also going to change like throughout your life. You're going to go through seasons where it's going to be like drumming's number one, and then maybe drumming's a lower priority, and then it might come back again, etc. So like it's a complicated answer to what looks like a simple question, but there's another, actually, let me show you. But if you go into the drumming tips again, if you scroll down here, inside of the drumming tips, there are some more discussions on like how to avoid burnout. Let me find the video for you. So like number 105, what do you do when you have no motivation to drum, and how to prevent burnout from drumming? So drumming tip 105 might be helpful for like if you're like lacking motivation and whatnot. That can give you some more specific things to work on for there. But like it does take time. And yes, you definitely have to have faith that like you are not so different from everybody else in the world who has become good at something, where it's like, well, they put in time and effort, but if I were to do that, there's no way that I could actually improve. It's like, well, I mean, if there's thousands of people who have all been like studied research-wise, like by Anders Ericsson and other people, etc., and it all demonstrates that these are the steps that they took. Like, if you did that too, don't you think that you'd make some kind of progress? Maybe not at the speed that they had because they had access to like world-class educators or whatever, but you'd still make some progress over time, right? It's not like your brain is going to be so different that it won't strengthen the neural pathways if you reinforce something by doing it over and over. Like, that's just how brains work. So like with effort and time, you'll be able to get better with it, but it's difficult. People won't be telling you how great you are. They have their own concerns, but you are improving. Yeah, Turbo. Definitely agree with that. There will also be some people who will try and hold you back. Just being real there, like there are people who will, I don't want to phrase this. I don't want to try and be as polite as I can. There will be people, if you make a lot of effort, if you're prioritizing like your drumming more than other things in life, there are going to be people who question that balance, and they're going to be like, why are you focusing so much on trying to improve on this thing? You're neglecting like hanging out with friends or like whatever it may be. And they're right, but like also your goals are not their goals, and they don't get to dictate what you do with your life. In my opinion, they might be able to have an opinion. They might be able to like say, hey, it looks like you're a little bit, your balance is a little bit out of whack. But like, if you feel good while doing it and you're okay with the sacrifices that come with prioritizes and improving and practicing, etc., and you're okay with being like, hey, I'm actually like not going to be hanging out with you guys as much as I was previously. Like, I just want to give you a heads up, like for the next few months, I'm really going to be focusing on this thing, which is improving. There are going to be people who are like, yeah, I totally get that. And then there are going to be people who will be like, no, that's not acceptable. And they're not going to like that. But like, they are not dictating your life. They should have no say over that. There are relationships, like friends, significant others that I've like been in relationships with who weren't willing to have that imbalance in the life. And that's okay. Like, I now have I've been married for over 10 years and I like absolutely adore my wife, and she's like my number one priority, but she knows that like today is the kind of day where I'm going to work. It's almost 9 o'clock now, but I'm going to work until 8 o'clock tonight, like at least just like working on stuff. And like, that is something that she's comfortable with. So if you have friends, family, significant others who are not okay with the amount of dedication and effort that you want to put towards something, but you are willing to do that and make some of the sacrifices, there are other people who are out there who are also type A people who might be like, yeah, that's fine. While you are like working your butt off towards that thing, I'm going to be working my butt off towards this other thing. And like, that's okay. So it just, I don't know if I want to go down that rabbit hole with like the ending friendships and whatnot. So I'll just like leave it at that. But like, just know that there will be some pushback, and there will be some people who will be jealous of the amount of effort and time that you're going to put towards something. Because when you are like really pushing yourself, other people will look at that and go, well, I'm not pushing myself. And there's this like inherent jealousy for some people where rather than going like, yeah, high five, like you're doing awesome. I'm not able to put in that work. I'm not willing to put in that work, but I'm really happy for you. Those are the kind of people that you want in your life. But if it's somebody that's like, no, I don't want you to like improve yourself because I'm not willing to do that myself. So I'm going to try and tear you down because it makes me feel better. You don't need those kind of people in your life. Like they are a net negative. So like they are in the long run going to hold you back from the things that you want to do, from the positive impact that you want to have on yourself and the people around you. And if there are people who are like that, who are like constantly questioning your decision to do what's best for you and your goals and what you want to do and the impact you want to have on the world, a positive one, like I wouldn't spend time with them, in my opinion. You got it. You're very welcome, Brian. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Turbo is can definitely be challenging to get significant others on board. I have had those challenges in the past with some people, and like sometimes it's like, okay, I have to reprioritize things. Again, different seasons. So like there are some times where like drumming's my number one, or like school is my number one. Like when I was working on my dissertation, I worked on my dissertation for multiple like Christmas mornings in a row, like because it took me however many years to do it. Like I was that dedicated to it. So like the dissertation proposal, when I was in Hawaii with like a family vacation, there's like a photo of me like on my laptop at the beach. Like I am working on my dissertation because that was my number one priority. And that was multiple years of like really trying to like nail that thing. And it ultimately ended up working out great for me. But like that was the commitment that I was making towards it. And like family members, some of them understood it and some of them didn't understand it. But like the results speak for itself. Like it got the highest possible award possible in the entire field in the world for 2018, which is like awesome. And it's because of the effort that I was willing to put into it. If I wasn't willing to do that, do I think I would have won that? Probably not. But like it worked out really well and it was aligned with the goals that I wanted to do and with the sacrifices that I was willing to make while doing that. But again, not everybody's willing to make those sacrifices and not everybody can. Like I was in a position where I could do that and wanted to do that and had enough support around me who was willing to do that as well. So like it worked out well for me. But yeah, it can be difficult with significant others. And then like after I finish that, it's like, okay, now I need to focus more on like hanging out with my wife as opposed to dissertating like every morning or every evening or both, etc. But yeah. Finding a type A person, again, also helps. Just somebody else who is like very goal driven and like wants to like do good things and improve themselves and improve the world. If you can find more people like that in your life, like hold on to them tightly. Like they're worth your time and energy. Keep them in your lives and you will help them and they will help you. It's this like symbiotic relationship that you can have. That was a huge rant. Good question though. I like how you said like quick question and then I like ranted for like what 20 minutes or something. Anyways, okay. I was doing this stretch, so now I'm gonna do this one. So this one is stretching the top side of the forearm, and then I'm gonna stretch the fingers, and then I'll do a massage routine real quick. Obviously, it's something that I'm passionate about. I just wish more people talked about it. Thumb to thumb stretching. I like there's a lot of drummers that like I watch, like content creators who like just focus on the playing side of things and whatnot, but there's like so much from the mental side of things and the social side of things that like you have to pay attention to and be aware of, like the cost of improving on your physical health, your mental health, your relationships, your finances, etc. Like those are all things that I don't think beginners and intermediate drummers are even aware of yet. And it's not until you invest a significant period of time where you realize like just how much those things will impact your world when you are trying to improve as a drummer. So I wish more people talked about it. So it wasn't just like me on these like rants, but like more well-known drummers who are like, hey, this is what it was really like. Like, this is why it's difficult. Massaging up and down the forearm just to relax it. Like, especially the cost, the reason why, like, I have all these drumming tips on here, and I have some people who will leave comments like, whoa, you should really be like paying for a course for this. But the reason why I've got like almost 20 hours of tips on here for free is because I like reflecting on how expensive it was to like learn all of these things, like with the private lessons I got, with the degrees I got, etc. Like drumming is a very expensive hobby. And so like making these available for free, like things that I've spent tens of thousands of dollars and more, like learning, like this is like my way of trying to give back and like help people out who can't afford private lessons. Like if you can't get private instructors like I could for years, like this is at least the next best thing that you can provide for it. Because yeah, drumming is expensive. So I wish more people talk about that. I'm massaging the palm with the thumb, and then the fingers massaging the backside of the hand. And switch to here. The other one. Do. And then finally, base the tip of each one of the fingers, massage them. I like that like YouTube blocked the political person who was just like going on a paragraph rant. Like it's cool that they identified like do you really want to show this? So like nobody saw it. And then they got banned, but it's nice to have those kind of controls. Unlike some platforms that I just turned comments off completely because it didn't work. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the home tab here, and I'm playing the same exercise that I warmed up with a long time ago, but I'm gonna play through it, working on the left hand, moving inside for the sweep. So I'm scrolling all the way down in the technique section to the 16th note diddle variations, and we're going over here, and Rodeo. Okay, so this exercise, I'm going to slow it down. And what I'm going to do is what's called the inside sweeps. So I'm moving from drum 2 to drum 1 with every left hand diddle. So when I'm playing this, if I'm playing a roll, every single one of those left hands is 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, 2-1. That's what it's going to be doing the entire time. Okay, so the other day when I was playing through this, I was doing both the right and the left. But the biggest issue is my left hand right now. So I'm just going to isolate that out and just let the right hand stay on drum 1 the entire time. And really work on that efficiency and staying so that the vertical doesn't change while I move, do that shifting motion from drum 1, or drum 2 into drum 1 rather. Okay, so I am slowing this down to 40 and going to play along to it. Go. And we're going to go up one click at a time. Go. I don't hear it. There you go. Oops. Played the wrong measure. right, so I'll do it this time with the overhead cam so you can see a little bit more of this. So again, the right hand staying stationary. The left is doing the sweep. How can screw me up? Elaborate on something. So Brian, one of the things that can help, like with being able to figure out how to not get distracted, is to have some kind of guidance through either following like a method book or a private lessons instructor, or like focusing on a specific piece. Like I want to learn how to play like Michi on marimba or whatever. Like if you have that can help like focus and keep you indistractable with like every other option that there is out there. So like I have behind my desk here like a ton of method books, and I've like sight read through all of them, gone through the majority of them, worked through them, to just like give myself some guidance on like what are some things that I can work on. And every single instructor that you have in every method book is going to focus on some things in different ways, and it's going to work better for some students over others. So having like a book or like an instructor who can like point you towards what resources to work on, that can be very helpful. But those are more expensive. So one of the things that you can do is you can just like ask questions like in the chat or in the videos, etc. Like, hey, I want to be able to work on flams. What are like 3 flam exercises that you'd recommend for this specific thing that I want to work on? And I'm happy to like point you in that direction, because again, like it's expensive, like drumming is a hobby. So you don't have to get the method books and the instruction, like pay for them. You can get some of the free stuff that are on the resources, but hopefully that can like help guide like your learning as well, is doing that. It makes it feel like a little less daunting, a little less overwhelming when it's like, hey, just work on this, and next we're going to work on this thing. And like just having that like step-by-step process to be able to go through can really help out. And if you're like an instructor who's like helping students, that can help them out. Like I created like my own like sequence of things for each student. Like, hey, we're going to do this, and then here's our long-term goal. And like, here are the exercises we're going to learn to get towards that long-term goal, etc. Like that can be helpful, especially for students who might have more anxiety over like, I don't feel like I'm practicing enough, or how I'm not improving as much as I want. Like having those the short and midterm like exercises or goals to like work through, or pieces that can be helpful. Just to elaborate on what we talked about earlier. Let's pull this back up. Let's continue. Still working on those left-hand sweeps. Oops. Double tap that. Here we go. let's do overhead again. So slow. Oops. I was too busy thinking about how my left hand, it was like trying to bend at the wrist like this to get the angle. And I was like, I need to make sure that I pivot like at the elbow. So it's the horizontal motion is coming from back here, not from right here. And so I was focusing on that, and then I was checking out my wrist angle for the hand, and then it screwed me up. So fun story, right? Okay, so those are the two things that I'm like really focusing on with this. And I focused on it too much, apparently. Here we go. Brush. Let's switch back to the music in case anyone's following along. Oops. Yes, I'm really trying to like stay nice and relaxed up here while still focusing on like pivoting at the elbow to get that sweep in there. It's a small amount of motion, especially for the leverage point, like how little I'm moving on here. But I want to make sure I don't tense up, so when I'm playing faster, it's not tight. I don't waste my time on trolls. Sorry. Cool, back to the music. Yeah, so don't come in here trying to waste my time, because you're just wasting yours. Here we go. 46. Ever tried playing guitar? No, there's actually multiple guitars, a bass guitar, ukulele right over there, but my wife plays them. So it's one of the few instruments I haven't learned. So for my undergrad in music education, to become a band director, you had to learn like every single band and orchestra instrument. So like I learned oboe and bassoon and trombone and clarinet and violin and double bass, etc. But it never actually learned guitar, which is kind of funny because guitar is more popular than like all of those instruments probably combined. Could I learn it? Yeah, I just don't really have an interest in it. Percussion has just like been the thing that I've been drawn to. Like in 8th grade when I started playing the drums, it was because like I was like listening to an album and I was like, man, I just like really focus on the drums more than I focus on the lyrics. And like part of that may have been the mix, but a lot of it is just like, I don't pay attention to the guitar, the lyrics, etc. I've just always been drawn to the drums. So I don't know what your question is. It's not a something I understand what you're saying. So sorry. Can't help what I don't understand. So again, doing left hand sweeps from drum 2 to drum 1, right hands staying on drum 1. Cool, so I'm going to play through this 2 more times, and then I'm going to just chop out for fun. Next tenor stream that I do, I'll start off at 50 and we'll go up slowly. Keep refining. Early. Pause there for a second. So that shift in between the 2 notes is what I'm trying to focus on, but when I mistime it, or like the amount of energy that it takes, or the distance it's supposed to go, or the timing of it, etc., that's where I'm hitting the rims on it. So still something to work on, but like a lot of the issues that I was having a couple days ago when I did the analysis of the playing, like they're not there. So it's going to be when I start to get faster. So by starting slower than I need to, it's allowing me to like reinforce like proper habits and techniques, etc. Ideally. So when I get probably about like 70, 80 BPM is where it's going to start like flattening out the wrist and maybe start changing the angle of the thumb on the stick. So like reinforcing these good habits now will be good. So I'm trying to be like ultra picky with it, which is why, like, what you'll see me like looking around from different angles. I'm trying to like look at my hands from multiple perspectives while doing this. But let's just continue. It's like midway through. Cool. Last rep for today. And 2 and cool. All right, so we'll leave it there. And now we're going to chop out. So at the end of these practice sessions, just like to have fun playing fast. But the majority of it, like to grind out something that I'm trying to actively improve. So the play along that I was just using, it's called Rodeo. You can find it in the technique section if you go to my home tab of YouTube. There's over 2,000 free exercises in here, but if you go into the technique section, that exercise was at the very bottom inside of the 16th note diddle variations. You have to click on the header again to show all of these. Now I'm going to chop out, the other day I was working on flam 5, so I'm going to just chop out with the flam 5 variation of an exercise called float drags. When you go inside of here, there's a bunch of different versions in here, but I'm going to do this one, flam 5s. And we're not going to start at 181. We're going to start off at 120. I'm going to go by 10s until my arms fall off. Stay tuned. We'll see what BPM that is today. Good stretch. These sticks are so much heavier. Cool. 130. Click. Okay. Hey, Turbo, appreciate you stopping in. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Now, this exercise is broken down into halves. So the top half is just check. The bottom half is with the flam fives. But it's also off the right hand on the first line. And then the second line is off the left. So it's really just this first line and then variations. Off the left. Now the same ideas with the flam fives. Sweet. Pop. 150. That popping sound happens when there's a sound wave. When it stops anywhere other than at the null point, so at the zeroed out point. So if you like stop a sound when it's above or below the waveform, then it actually creates that pop. So if you edit audio ever, try and cut it on the null point, the 0 point. That way you can prevent the pop. Sweet. 160. Click. Ew. Let's try that again. My left hand feels weird. Like it feels tight. Maybe it's because I didn't do as thorough of a like a stretch and massage routine as I should have. I was too busy ranting. Based on how my hands feel, this will probably be the final speed that I play at this morning. Every day is different in terms of how my hands feel, but today they feel lethargic. 170. Okay, I'm going to get ready for Fez, the game, in like 15, 20 minutes. But if you want to continue playing along to this exercise or thousands more, just go to the Home tab. Click on any of these headers for the chop stuff. The one I was just playing was inside of this float drags playlist right here. There's over 1,000 grid variations. There's limb independent stuff. I'll practice that tomorrow. There's marching bass drum stuff, drumline cadences. There's almost 300 sight reading exercises. There's almost 500 technique exercises. And then here's where you'll find just under 20 hours of drumming tips and Q&A, as well as like the scripted lessons and whatnot. Check those out if you're interested in it. If you enjoyed this content, share it with somebody else. And then as always, if you don't enjoy this content, share it with an enemy. Either way, it helps me out. So one day I can make a livable wage off of creating free resources. But until then, I'll enjoy the pennies. But I'm going to call it here. I'm going to get ready for Fez. So I'm going to move all this. So if you want to join for that, it's a really cool, unique 2D, 3D, 2.5D game. You'll see. But I hope you have a good day. Goodbye.